Hi there, the name's Nico, and today I'll be going over my tier list for the best and worst characters in Solo's Eternal Return. Tier list you see in front of you is a tier list I made over 1 month ago on June 18th, 2021. This was from the patch where Ryo was just allowed in ranked. Ryo was okay on her release, but she has received a bunch of changes since then, so keep an eye on her along with many of the other characters. I'm just going to expand on where characters should be placed based off the last tier list, so if you want to know why they were placed in their respective tiers originally, I check out that video. With this in mind, let's begin. I will be showing stats on screen, so here are the average stats I base. Please note the top 1000 stats are not as good of an indicator as they normally are because it is preseason right now and no one is really playing ranked. The first character I'll go over is Dagger Jackie. Dagger in general is not a good place right now for most characters, but for Jackie specifically, she is doing poorly. Jackie has only received nerfs since the last tier list. Specifically, her ultimate does significantly less damage, and her W, Adrenaline Burst, has lost a bunch of movement speed at max level. Dagger skill got a major rework and no longer is a confirmed crit strike, which hurts all Dagger users in general. Regorak received a major change and has focused impact on it, but even this does not help Dagger Jackie from doing well. Dagger Jackie is still one of the best characters to run away, making her rank higher than average. But because of the nerfs to Jackie and Dagger skill, she's moving down to B tier. The second weapon for Jackie is Two-Handed Sword. I have actually moved Two-Handed Sword Jackie up to B plus tier. This is solely due to Lavatine changes. If you didn't know, Lavatine now has Smolder on it, an ability that deals true damage based on the enemy's HP. They ended up buffing Smolder after adding it to Lavatine, which is what is making her look insane. Smolder in general needs a nerf, as characters that have access to this effect have been performing really well, including Jackie. Two-Handed Sword Jackie is the best Jackie right now, but once they nerf Smolder, she won't be. The next weapon type is Dual Swords. The Dual Sword weapon skill, Dual Sword Rampage, received a major rework since the last tier list. This changed her Dual Swords, at least the spell amp variation. This is why now everyone plays attack speed Dual Swords. Even with this change, Dual Sword Jackie will remain in B plus tier. The last weapon type is Axe. Axe got a major rework to its weapon skill and is now better than before. The best thing about Axe Jackie is they made attack range a unique ability, meaning you can't stack attack range. Axe Jackie was known for this, and now she can't do that. This has hurt her compared to the last tier list, which is why I moved her down to B plus tier. Next is Pistol Aya. Aya lost some base attack power, but she gained HP and defense in exchange. Pistol Aya's main weapon, Magnum Boa, lost some vision range, which is minor. Aya's been doing better compared to the last tier list. My guess to this is because they have nerfed defense mastery for every character. Pistol Aya just bursts people down, making her stronger than before. If Pistol Aya can survive the early game, she has a good chance at winning. This is why she's an A plus tier character. Pistol Aya is also the best of the Ayas. Air Aya is next. Air Aya is in a better place compared to the last tier list for two reasons. One is the new assault rifle added, Judgment, and a new accessory was added called Music Box. Air Aya struggled with having HP, especially in the late game, when she would switch off her helmet to Laurel Wreath. But with Music Box having HP and attack speed, it has really helped Air Aya. The Judgment allows Air Aya to do more DPS compared to before. Air Aya is still A tier, but she'll rank higher than the A tier category than before. The last weapon type for Aya is Sniper. Sniper Aya will move up to C tier. Sniper Aya is mainly used to grief people early on, and once the early game passes, she struggles to keep up. Her main late game item, Deadly Ray, was nerfed. The sniper skill got reworked and is worse than before. Not only does it do less damage, but it is now a skill shot. But she was doing better than she was last month. I assume because the defense mastery nerfs allow her to burst people down easier, which is why she's moving up a tier. Next is Glove Hyungwoo. Biggest change to Hyungwoo's attack power ratios on his ultimate Haymaker were nerfed, but even with this, Glove Hyungwoo is moving up to A plus tier. This is because of the newest glove, Mark of the Phoenix. This glove has Smolder on it, and as mentioned before, Smolder is broken and needs nerfs. Glove Mastery was also reworked and benefits Tank Hyungwoo even more. Once this effect is nerfed, I expect Hyungwoo to move down a tier, but for now he is A plus tier. Tonfa Hyungwoo is next. Tonfas haven't really been touched since the last tier list, and now are being outshined by Glove Hyungwoo. Tonfa Hyungwoo will remain in A tier, but will be placed lower in A tier than before. The next character is Bat Magnus. A lot has changed for Bat Magnus. These changes have benefited him, but have really hurt the meta. I'm sure if you played rank at the end of season 2, you would see at least one Magnus in your lobby, probably more. That Magnus is moving up to S tier. Biggest change was that Vajra was added. Vajra has focus impact on it, which allows you to crit every 3 seconds. Use this weapon with a tank build and can defend yourself generally if someone were to attack you, and if you can't, you can just run away. Magnus's kit allows him to escape any bad situation pretty easily. Plus, they added Jolly Roger, which has swift strides on it, which will increase your movement speed after walking a certain distance and do more damage on your next hit. This works perfectly with Magnus's kit. They really need to rework Focus Impact or even just Magnus, but for now he is an S tier character. The last weapon for Magnus is Hammer. No one in NA plays Hammer Magnus because Hammer Magnus is just a worse back Magnus. Weight of the World was reworked to have Focus Impacted as well, but Hammer Magnus can't use Focus Impact as well as Bat Magnus can. Hammer Magnus is still in B tier. Now we have Rapier Fiora. Fiora has not been touched since the last tier list. Biggest change to Fiora was that Dragon Dobok received a buff. It was buffed significantly, but was nerfed shortly after. This was because attack range is a unique passive, but since Fiora only builds Dobok and not another attack range item, this buff has helped her. Plus, since Defense Mastery was nerfed for all its characters, it is easier for Fiora to burst people compared to before. But even with these changes, Rapier Fiora is still A tier. Spear is the next weapon type for Fiora. Spear Fiora does have access to Blazing Lance, which does have Smolder on it, but Smolder isn't that good on Spear Fiora since she wants quick fights. Nothing really has changed since the last tier list, so she's B+ character. The last weapon type for Fiora is Two-Handed Sword. Two-Handed Sword Fiora is also running Lavatine, which has Smolder on it and is broken. The other type of Two-Handed Sword build uses Monohoshi Zao, which is a strong late game weapon, and you utilize Dragon Dobok, which has been buffed since the last tier list. Because of this, Two-Handed Sword Fiora is A tier. Next is Bow Nadine. Nadine received a minor buff since the last tier list since they nerfed her heavily previously. Biggest change to bows was the recipe changed for wooden bow. Instead of needing piano wire and a branch, you now need a bow plus branch. These are the 3 bows users, and they are characters that are commonly played. Lack of bows is a bit of a problem, especially building twin bow, then using another bow to upgrade your weapon. But mainly the nerfs from the previous tier list have impacted her, which is why she's moving down to A tier. The last weapon type for Nadine is Crossbow. Crossbow Weapon Mastery received some minor buffs, and Dragon Bowbok receives a buff, but this hasn't impacted Crossbow Nadine enough to be moved out of A tier. Next is Throw Sahir. Throw Sahir is still A tier. They added a new throw weapon, Fireball, and I've seen some people use it, but it's not the majority. Ruthenian Marble is still better, but Fireball has some use. They received some minor buffs that help Sahir, but not enough to get it out of A tier. Shuriken Sahir is next. Shuriken Sahir hasn't moved at all. His main build with Mystic Jade Charm has not been changed and has great late game scaling. Prominence was added, a new arm piece that gives CDR, which is a good switch from Burnish Aegis if he can't get Scotty. Other than that, Shuriken Sahir is A+ tier. Just no one plays him in NA. Now we have Heart. Heart was nerfed hard in the last tier list, and she received even more nerfs, specifically to her Q delay. This hurts her a lot, and they gave her some minor buffs, but it was not enough. The wall, Heart's early game guitar, received a minor buff, but people don't stay on this guitar the whole game and it will switch. A new accessory is added called Music Box, and it works great with Heart, as it gives HP and attack speed. A lot of E9 characters, including Heart, lack an HP item. The Music Box fits this spot perfectly. With the nerfs she receives, Heart is still an A+ tier character. Any more nerfs will move her down to A tier. Next is Air Isol. Isol did receive nerfs, specifically to his E, Camouflage, and his ultimate, Mock Operational Mine. He also gains less trap mastery when using traps on animals. A new accessory, Music Box, has been added that is helpful for all E9 characters because it has HP and attack speed on it. Type 95 received some buffs, which is Isol's main weapon tied with Agni. But even with these nerfs, Isol is still A+ tier character. He is just not as high as A+ as before. Then we have Pistol Isol. Pistol Isol is also still A+ tier. Biggest change is that they nerfed Elegance's early game by a lot, and it scales better late game. The thing with Isol, though, is that he almost always is behind in weapon mastery compared to the other characters because he spends his time crafting traps. And if someone wants to fight Pistol Isol, he has so many tools that he can just run away because he often builds 40% CDR. Pistol Isil is just annoying to face, but he does what he does effectively. Now we have Glovely Dylan. I honestly thought Glovely Dylan died when they nerfed her hard a couple months ago, but no, she is back, better than ever. Lee Dylan received a minor nerf on her Q Spirited Kick, but it hasn't hurt her one bit. A new glove was added, Mark of the Phoenix, which has the effect Smolder on it. Smolder is broken correctly, and some lead islands have used this, but most stay on White Claw Punch or Defined Fists. Glove skill is still super strong. Glove Lead Island is moving up to S tier. The last weapon type for Lead Island is Nunchaku. Nunchaku Lead Island, I feel like, is slept on in NA. It was not good before until Cerberus kept getting buffed. It even received a buff since the last tier list. The late game scaling on Cerberus has made it insane on Nunchaku, which is why she is also moving up to S tier. I would have to say both types of lead islands are strong right now. A Cerberus late game scaling is insane, but glove skill is really strong. Nunchaku lead island is slightly better than glove is, though. Now we have Yuki. For two-handed sword Yuki, it is the same as the other two-handed sword users. Yuki benefits a lot with Lavatine, the Smolder two-handed sword, as his playstyle is to move in and out of combat, which extends the fight for Smolder to do insane damage. Dobok also received a buff on its attack range, which helps Yuki out. Yuki also received a bunch of nerfs to counteract these changes, which is why he's remaining in A tier. Next is Dual Sword Yuki. Dual Sword weapon skill, Dual Sword Rampage, was reworked so it does not work as well with Spell Amp compared to before. Yuki also received a bunch of nerfs. Dragon Dobok did receive a buff that helped Dual Sword Yuki. With all these changes, Dual Sword Yuki is still remaining in C tier. Hedgen is next. Hedgen has been doing even better now that Defense Mastery has been nerfed for everyone. This has allowed characters with high burst to do really well, including Hedgen. A new accessory, Sanguine Gunbai, was added, and this item is insane on Hedgen, because not only does it give CDR, but it gives movement speed. Hedgen received a minor nerf to her Q, Charm of Despair, and her E, Charm of the Nomad, but Hedgen has still been dominating, which is why she's moving up to S tier. Then we have Shuriken Hedgen. Shuriken Hedgen is moving down to D tier. Shuriken Hedgen has done significantly worse since the last tier list. Shuriken Hedgen has been watched for a while, but she still hasn't been buffed. No one plays Shuriken because Bow is significantly better. Shuriken Hedgen is the worst character in the game. Now we have Shukai. Shukai received a major rework since the last tier list. He is now capped at 150 stacks and gains less HP per stack, but he gains benefits at 50, 100, and 150 stacks. Any good Shukai player will make it to 150 stacks easily. Because of this, Shukai has been fighting people earlier, allowing him to secure more kills. He is still below average on kills, but just not much. For Dagger Shukai, Dagger skill received a bunch of nerfs. Dagger skill movement speed has decreased, which prevents ratting and no longer confirms crit. Dagger Shukai is moving down to A tier. Spear Shukai, on the other hand, is still S tier. Even with the nerfs to Shukai, Spear has been doing really well, having one of the highest win rates. None of Shukai's wing weapons have been touched. Spear Shukai is still an S tier character. Next is Shuriken Sisela. Sisela's ult was reworked from the last tier list so that she only does damage to people in the same and adjacent zones as her. She gains more weapon mastery from this, but is not as impactful and annoying when you're on the opposite side of the map crafting an item only to be interrupted. Her Q received a minor nerf. The most significant change to Shuriken Sisela has been to her main weapon, Petal Torn. Even with these nerfs, Shuriken Sisela has been doing better than before. Part of this probably has to do with the defense mastery nerfs, allowing characters that can burst with a well-timed Caltrops combo to do better. Shuriken is moving up to S tier. Then we have Throrsicella. Throrsicella is just a worse Shuriken Sisela. Ruthenium Marble was not touched either. Throrsicella is doing a bit better compared to before, which is why she's moving up to A tier. Now we have Kiara. Kiara has become quite popular since the last tier list. Kiara mainly received buffs since the last tier list. The crit build especially is doing better because the buffs help crit more. Plus, with the defense mastery nerfs, Kiara is able to burst down people with her ult easier. Kiara is moving up to A+ tier. Adriana is next. Adriana only received some minor changes, with the most significant being her R charges cocktail party cast range has been reduced by 1 meter. New throw weapon, Dyadic Prism, was added since the last tier list. This weapon is amazing on Adriana as it has high attack power and attack speed. Another throw weapon was added, which works amazing with her passive, but that's about it. Another change related to Adriana is the spawn time of Wick. Wick Align now spawns at 13 minutes and 5 seconds. This is significantly later in the game. Less people are left in the game at this point, and the characters left probably have good items and all want to contest Wick, especially since most characters should be at least level 16 by this point. Some characters need their level 3 ult in order to contest Wick, and now they'll have it. The strength of Adriana Wick has also been changed, since bow skill can now pull Wick from a different zone, so Adriana needs to be sure she hits first. These are these changes, Adriana is moving down to B tier. Next is Shoichi. Shoichi did not receive any changes since the last tier list. Dagger skill was nerfed heavily, as the movement speed has been reduced and no longer guarantees crit. Shoichi is also ping reliant, which means he's not good at NA as KR. Shoichi is remaining in B tier, bordering B plus tier. Then we have Sylvia. Sylvia is moving back up to S tier. Sylvia has received buffs since the last tier list, making her late game even stronger. Defense Mastery nerfs has helped Sylvia burst people easier with her bite combo, especially late game. Sylvia is an S tier character. Now we have Emma. Emma received a rework to have less defense, but do more damage with her Q, Dove Dealer. Emma's main weapons, Mystic Gene Charm and Fuma Shuriken, were not touched since the last tier list. Mystic Gene Charm scales better for late game. Emma is remaining in S tier. Lennox is next. Lennox received some minor changes, the most significant being her E, Whiplash, movement speed reduction being buffed. Biggest change related to Lennox is the Gleipnir recipe change and the Thunder Whip stat change. Gleipnir lost a lot of its early game power. It is now a 3-zone weapon. Thunder Whip also has percentage scaling, which makes it better than Gleipnir in the late game. Because of this, Lennox is remaining in B plus tier. Next is Rosie. Rosie received a noticeable nerf to her passive, making her do 10% less damage on the second hit. Even though Rosie is a character that relies on bursting characters with her combo, which benefits her in this meta, there are a lot better burst mages than her. So Rosie's moving down to B plus tier. Then we have Luke. Luke is receiving a major change to his abilities in the next patch, but for now, Luke hasn't changed that much since the last tier list. New Bat was added, but Luke does not utilize it, which is why Luke is remaining in B plus tier. Now we have Kathy. If I made this tier list a few weeks ago, I would have said Kathy was S tier. Fragarak getting focused impact helped Kathy so much, even with the nerfs. And then they nerfed Kathy's passive to do 10% less crit damage at max level, which Kathy always levels up first, and Dagger Skill is not a confirmed crit, hurting Kathy even more. Plus, they also nerfed the amount that critical strikes do by 10%. So because of this, Kathy is remaining in B plus tier. Adela is next. Adela received a minor rework to her Q, W, and E. The biggest change for Adela is the rework of Meteor Claymore. Meteor Claymore now has focus impact on it, which has really helped Adela since she normally only builds attack power or amp. Meteor Claymore also gained 2% more crit strike damage. Combine this with Creed of the Night, she is doing almost 200% more damage at her autos every 3 seconds. Drift damage was nerfed a bit, but even with this, Adela has been excelling. Adela is still an A plus tier character. Then we have Bernice. I have to say Bernice is moving down to D tier. He has only received one adjustment this patch. Sniper skill was also reworked to be a skill shot and does less damage. Not that Bernice did that much damage compared to Sniper Aya's skill shot did to Spell Amp. Bernice needs some serious buffs to do well. Next is Barbara. Barbara has received a bunch of nerfs, including several hot fixes since the last tier list, because people have been doing really well with her. Her main weapon, Spy Umbrella, was also nerfed, but even with this, she's been doing better than the last tier list. I think this has to do with the fact that Defense Mastery was nerfed on everyone. Barbara wants to burst you, and this change allows her to do that easier. This is why she's moving up to A plus tier. Then we have Alex. Alex received more buffs than nerfs since the last tier list, and people have started to use Petal Torrent on Alex. Petal Torrent has been nerfed a ton since the last tier list, but Alex's combo bursts people so quickly with Petal Torrent. So with this tier list, I'll separate Shuriken and Alex from the rest of the Alexes. So Shuriken Alex is S tier. The other forms of Alex are still good. It's just that Petal Torrent has so many stats that make him better. All other Alex weapon types will be placed in A plus tier. Now we have Sua. Sua received some nerfs since the last tier list. I think the biggest change related to her was that BOG suit was nerfed and High Priest robe was buffed. This change has made people switch builds to have even more CDR on it compared to before. This makes Sua even more annoying to face. This is why Sue is moving up to A plus tier. Leon is next. I knew Leon was strong, but he is stronger than I thought he was. His W Cannonball received the most nerfs. His main glove, Frost Petal Hand, was not touched. Glove Mastery is reworked, but it didn't impact Leon too much. Leon is moving up to S tier. Next we have 11. In the last tier list, 11 was terrible. But she's received a bunch of buffs since then, and none of her main weapons were touched, so I'll be moving her up to B tier. These are the basics of what a character should be. Then we have Rio. Rio received a bunch of reworks since she is the newest character added in the last tier list. This rework killed Skill Amp Rio and has made it that only ENAD is viable. Biggest change was that Ancient Bolt, Rio's main weapon, was nerfed heavily in the early game, but is now better in the late game. A bunch of new items have been added to help Rio with her HP problems, mainly Music Box. With all this in mind, Rio remains in B plus tier. The first of the new characters since the last tier list is William. William was on the weaker side on his release, so they have been buffing him since, and he is okay now. His biggest struggle is chasing people, but he has the damage. William's best weapon is Grenade of Antioch, which has been reworked to do less damage but has more charges. Based on this, William will be placed in B tier. The second of the newest characters is Nikki. Nikki was below average on release, especially her ultimate, Pure Rage Uppercut, so she has been buffed since. Nikki's main glove, Frost Petal Hand, was not touched. Nikki's kit made it seem like she was going to be an auto attack character, but she ended up being an amp character. I'll have to place Nikki in B tier. And the last of the newest characters is Nathapon. Nathapon is a C tier character. He does have decent damage, but his cooldowns are so bad, and he has some major bug issues. Plus, he has no chase potential. If his numbers and bug issues are fixed, I am sure he will at least be a B tier character. Okay, now I'm going to put them in order in their respective tiers, with the best in that tier being on the left and the worst of that tier being on the right. Please keep in mind though, if someone is on the right side of their tier list, it does not mean that they are bad, unless you're talking about C tier characters, of course. It just means that they are characters that are slightly better than them, but they still all belong in the same tier. And yeah, this is the final tier list. I plan on doing this monthly, since too soon means not much has changed, but later than a month is missing a new meta and characters. If you've liked these types of videos, please give this a like and subscribe for more Eternal Return content. I hope to see you at the next video.